Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Savi's Musings. Through this platform, I intend to talk about the latest releases in Hollywood along with favorite TV shows and beloved movies. Now, for the first episode, I'm going to talk about the long awaited and much anticipated film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which obviously you might have guessed is Black Widow. Now, if you have not seen Avengers Endgame, be aware because there are quite a few spoilers for that movie coming up in this video. Now, while watching Black Widow, you get so many feels because seeing Scarlett Johansson in her element as Natasha Romanoff is really gets you, especially if you're a huge fan of Black Widow like I am. Now, the movie is set right after the events of Captain America Civil War, not Endgame, before Civil War. And it follows Natasha as she comes to terms with her Red Room past. And there are lots of family feels coming up, and there's a lot of elements of brainwashing and a lot of tough times ahead for Natasha. And you really get to see so many layered elements of her past. Now, along with Scarlett Johansson, there's Florence Pugh, who plays her former Red Room operative, Yelena Belova. Now, along with Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson, Stranger Things fame David Harbour and Academy Award winner Rachel Weisz also star in this movie. So it's quite a bit of an ensemble cast. And along with them, you also see a lot of different characters and a lot of different actors from previous Marvel movies. But you don't get to see Robert Downey Jr. again, even though that had been what a lot of people had anticipated when they watched this movie. In Black Widow, like I said, there's a lot of elements of Natasha's past coming up, but this is not exactly a prequel. Now, you know, if you've seen Captain America Civil War, you know that she was on the run along with Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, and Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson. And in between her doing a lot of operations for along with them, she runs into her former family that consisted of Florence Pugh and David Harbour along with Rachel Weisz. And while she's on the run with them, she has to come to terms with one of the worst things that had happened to her while she was a spy for the Russians. If you've seen Avengers, the first Avengers movie, you know that Loki and Clint Barton talk about what happened. But we don't get to see what happened in Budapest, even though that's what a lot of fan theories did say. I'm not going to give away much because it's a huge spoiler for the movie. I personally feel that this is Scarlett Johansson's finest performance ever in this movie because she's done an excellent job and she's actually in her element as Natasha Romanoff. But even though a lot of people like me who are huge fans of Black Widow really anticipated this movie and loved this movie, you might feel a little let down because a lot of people had anticipated that you would get an actual prequel that where you would see the training that happened in the Red Room and maybe some elements from the comic like Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes also coming up, but none of those elements come up here. It's just a small slice of we just get a very small slice of what had happened to Natasha in the past. You don't get to see the journey that Natasha had from being Natalia Romanova to Natasha Romanoff, the spy that she is today. But you do get to see some parts of it. And as usual, Florence Pugh did an amazing job. She's perfect in any role that she does. Her Russian accent is excellent. She's done a lot of good fighting skills. And David Harbour is quite funny as a washed-up assassin. And even though his costume does remind you of Steve Rogers, and even though there were so many fan theories regarding the Taskmaster, who is the villain in this movie. But none of those things actually matter because this movie is completely Scarlett Johansson's and she's done an excellent job of portraying Black Widow for the final time. If you're a fan of, like I said, if you're a fan of Black Widow, this is going to be really bittersweet because you know that you're not going to see her in this movie. You're not going to see her portray this character again. And it does invoke a lot of feels for you, but this was actually a great way for Scarlett Johansson to say goodbye to her character because It's amazing the way she's performed. Everything is perfect, and it just gives you a great goodbye to this beautiful character who started this Marvel Cinematic Universe journey from Iron Man 2, and then had a lot of ups and downs in these past 10 years. So I love this movie personally. If you hopefully you can go watch this movie and tell us what you think in the comments.
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past. I was an assassin, a spy, an Avenger. Before that, I had a family.
On July 9th,
We have unfinished business.
we fight with you. The wait is over.
You okay?
Great plan. I love the part where I almost bled to death.
Marvel Studios' Black Widow. Rated PG-13. Experience it. July 9th.
So we will see you next week with another episode, hopefully another TV show or maybe another movie. Tell us what you think about this review in the comments section. Thank you.